So, have you been watching the Pelicans? If not, you might want to tune in because they're a major threat in the Western Conference. For those of you that have been watching, well, you probably agree with what I just said. But there is something that we all have been noticing, and that's how well Zion Williamson has been playing. His absurd athletic nature makes us open our eyes wide. His brute force just shows defenders they need to get in that weight room. Checking into the weight room. And although he may be a strong 280 pounds, Zion can move on the court with such fluidity that a guy his size shouldn't be doing. When Zion's driving to the paint, it's pretty much a done deal because he's coming in with brute force, ready to take out whoever stands in his way. He completely destroys opposing teams with his sheer power, and to make him even harder to cover, he's so mobile that you have to be alert to where he is at all times. Out on the fast break, there's literally no chill from Zion, as here you see him give up the ball and then smash on the gas to beat everyone to the paint, and now the alley-oop is underway. Moving at speeds this fast while being this big should be illegal, as you'll see Zion shifting to another gear once he notices the chance for him to get behind the defense, and before they even know it, he's in the air for the slam. When it comes to power, it also refers to traveling with great speed, so when you see someone of Zion's stature coming at you, it's not just the force that's a factor, but it's also the speed at which he moves and glides at that can be a problem as well. With Brandon Ingram slightly throwing off the defender with his ghost screen, that's all it takes for Zion to turn on his turbo, and with him having a head of steam downhill, there's just no stopping him. Now some of you might not agree that I just said Zion has turbo built in, but when you find another guy that's 280 moving on the basketball court with much speed and finesse, please let me know. It's truly all the small things that lead to him being so dangerous, as if we slow down this play here, when Zion catches with momentum going to the right side, his ability to change direction to go to the middle of the paint is crazy, as it leaves the defender and now it's an easy 2 points inside. People can say whatever they want about him, but it's not just him running mindlessly to go score the ball, as he has many different ways to be effective around the rim. If you fall asleep and aren't aware of where he's at like I talked about earlier, well, you're bound to get a putback jammed all over you. When you analyze the fine details in his game, you can see that Zion is able to plant and turn the other way perfectly to go punch it home. And let me tell you this, it doesn't matter if you send 2 defenders at him to throw him off, he can power through all that contact, regain control of the ball, and then still get the bucket. When looking at Zion's numbers around the rim, in the restricted area, Zion is second in the league in field goals attempted at 10 a game and converts these at a 67% rate, and on 16 drops per game, Zion sinks 52% of his buckets when he attacks. Now I want you all to think about something, and give me your answer in the comments. Say you're the opposing team, what game plan would you draw up to slow down a guy like Zion? The reason I say slow him down is simply because you're not stopping him no matter how hard you try. If you happen to have smaller guys guarding him, well, you can just throw it up and he'll get it to go score. Let's say there is a taller guy waiting on him, then he can just rip right past him with the power and speed. And hey, if you're too late getting back to him on the pick and roll, then Zion's gonna detonate on you. His activity on the court can simply be described as relentless, as he's not worried about what stands in his way, as he's gonna continue to take it at you. With that off-ball movement of his, just because Zion isn't directly involved in the play doesn't mean you can just lose track of him, because he'll make sure to cut back door when the defense isn't looking and stare at the rim before slamming it through. It doesn't always have to be him receiving the lob off these cuts, as if you allow him to catch you with a head of steam downhill, well, here's where he can jump into your body off the drive and easily lay it right in. Honestly, it doesn't take a lot of space for him to work around the rim, so if you let him catch the ball from anywhere on the floor without being covered, well, it's pretty much an automatic 2 points on the board. When having the task of guarding Zion, there's many things to be ready for, and one that is very key is the quick movements he has on the floor. Yeah, some people might say his leaping ability or his power is more dangerous, but he wouldn't even be able to get to his spots on the floor as effectively if he didn't have a quickness to his game. Don't understand what I'm saying? Well, watch right here. When he slows it down to size up his defender, Zion quickly bursts out the handle to get downhill, and if you're not directly in front of him, then there's not much you can do. Coming up the floor versus the Blazers, we first see the crossover lead to Zion beating the initial defender, and then he speed boosts with his in and out to get his shoulder into the chest of the help as he goes up to score. Having that ability to move quick not only allows him to get to his spots, but it'll catch a lot of guys off guard as they don't expect him to move like this, so now this will award him easier buckets. It may not seem like a lot to you, but with him being able to burst out these crossovers and get lower than his defender, it grants Zion that slight advantage when it comes to driving and gives us these emphatic slams. It don't matter if you're right there waiting for him to make a move, Zion can go right past you in a quickness and be slamming it home before anyone can get there to help. Now, is it merely just his quickness that makes his drives effective? Nah, let's not sell him short. Because it's not just about that speed, as it takes some major finesse and agility to constantly score in close. When faced with a wall of defenders, Zion can maneuver through the traffic with ease, making defenders wonder how he got to the basket untouched. Since he is equipped with that speed, when gaps present themselves on the floor, even if it's for the slightest moment, Zion will attack right through, and with that slither of space, he's able to slide right past both defenders and toss this off the glass for the and one. Against Portland, you can see him attack the gap again, but it's when the help defender steps up when we see his fluid body movement, as he can smoothly glide right past for the finger roll. Since he's practically a freight train coming downhill, you expect him to run right through defenders, but with his exceptional body control, he can shift his body in midair to avoid all contact to lay it in. When he attacks RJ Barrett right from the sideline, you'll notice Porter rotating over for the help, so instead of clashing in the air on the right side, Zion will glide to the other side using that rim as protection to connect on the up and under. If you take a second to think back to earlier when I talked about his ability to plant and change directions, well, that also allows him to avoid the defense when they set for a charge, and now it's a power up for the slam. Now, as we all know, avoiding the defense isn't just about moving your body in midair, but your ability to use certain moves while on the ground ties into it as well. You'll see Jeff Green shade him back towards the right side on this play as Brooks waits for him, so right when he's about to collide with Dillon, he uses that spin move to avoid the charge and get deeper in the paint, so now it's an easy float over the top of the defense. These spins can all out be brutal, as Zion is able to get his shoulder into you before spinning off for the layup. If you send that double, then he can use it to avoid getting trapped, and then even if the defense is in the right spot to stop him, Zion can spin off them back towards the paint and leap right past the defense for the and one. Just as we've seen in that last play, Zion is able to use moves to get away from the defenders, but as you've seen on that spin, he doesn't mind getting physical with defenders whatsoever and will just bully them time and time again. With that stable handle, Zion's low rip through cross shakes Allen up just enough for him to start attacking downhill, so now with Jarrett trying to recover, Zion jumps into a space to take away the contest as he lays it in softly. It honestly doesn't matter if you send two defenders his way when he's at the rim, as he'll just elevate over the top of them to score the ball. And although it didn't throw him off, it's probably best to send two guys at him, because when it's just one guy that stands in his way of getting to the rim, he can absorb the contact, stay focused all the way through, and now he has one more waiting for him at the line. Honestly, do whatever you can do to stop him, but it probably just won't work, because even when three defenders are collapsing in on him as he races down the floor, he can still convert the bucket inside through the heavy traffic. There's layers on top of layers on top of layers of things you have to look out for when it comes to Zion scoring inside, and even if you were to take away every single one of his moves besides his raw power and athletic abilities, he would still be a major force on the floor. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe before heading out. I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.